Hey,
Hey,
how you doing?
doing well, doing well. How about yourself?
I'm great. I'm great. I want to talk about something.
What's that?
So here's the situation.
Okay.
I have a buyer.
Mm-hmm.
They sold the house of their dream. They
Mm-hmm.
really like it.
Okay.
Beautiful home. It has everything: 3 bedroom, an office, a game room, all the stuff they want. Big backyard for their barbecue party. Large primary bedroom
Okay.
with primary bathroom with showers and tub and all the good stuff that come with it.
They were in love with it.
They're in love. They said, Danielle, this is it.
Yeah.
The owner put so much work into that property. You can tell. You can
Okay.
tell.
Okay.
The problem is the neighborhood don't value that property that much because the price was a little bit high. Well, actually, not a little bit, a lot higher.
Okay.
Because when I run the comp, I realized he priced his home over 25 to 30,000 above list price, above the market value of the neighborhood in general.
Okay.
True, I can give him some of the perk that he put on that property were really, really nice, and it's valuable, but it's not valuable to the point that to justify that $30,000 extra.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh my God, my buyers are FHA, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't really have a lot of money in cash to put in a house like that in the event that the property do not appraise.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, okay, well, I went to the listing agent. I said, we want to submit an offer. We really love your home.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is your price is off.
Yeah.
So we can only offer you, we're not going to offer you the price that you listed. I'm not going to say the price and all that because I'm not sure if I can or not, but I'm not going to tell you, give you the price. Let's say the house is $300,000. I'm not going to give you $300,000 because the house in your neighborhood are selling for $270,000.
Mm-hmm.
So the fair market value of this home, based on all the good stuff you put in there, should be at $270,000.
270.
Here's the offer at $270,000. The listing agent was like, "Oh, Danielle, give me something to work with." I said, "I know, but here's the comp." I emailed him the comp, and I said,
Yeah.
"Here's what's going on."
Yeah.
So he looked at it and was like, well, he sent to his seller. His seller came back and said, no, I want my house and my price is $300,000.
He wouldn't back down at
Won't
all.
back down at all. No matter what we say, what we do, how we negotiated, the listing agent is like, hey, this is not me. Don't shoot the messenger. That's the seller. And that's who I'm dealing with. I told him when I was entering, the house will be seated on the market for over 65 days. And I told him he will not get his price, but he doesn't want to budge
Persistent.
because he said he put a lot of stuff in the house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I told that to my buyer. I said, hey, let me find you another home. And they're like, they keep dreaming about it. They keep coming back. Danielle, we really love this house. This is it. I'm like, well, if you're willing to pay that price, we're going to go for it. But I'm going to put some stuff in the contract to protect you, right? Because I knew that $300,000 will not
Wasn't
fly.
coming.
Because I knew after the lender order an appraisal, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Anyway, fast forward. Well, the appraisal comes in, just like I say, $275,000, $5,000 more than what I thought, right?
Yeah.
So $275,000, $25,000 off. And I told the listing agent, we do not have any extra cash to waste, to give you. So the
pay the
seller will have
difference.
to. But I was very, very clear. If the property do not appraise, please tell and explain to your client. He will have to reduce his price. He will have to meet us.
Yeah.
And then, and of course, after several days of going back and forth, the seller finally come back to his sense and agree to the price that the appraiser come back with,
275.
$275,000. That's what we're going to talk about today, guys. Welcome to Let's Keep It Real Now. I am your host, Danielle Bilumbu of DBK Real Estate, and here's my bestie,
Abu Jabi with AMP Lending.
How's everybody doing?
Hey, another episode. We're going to give some good information about appraisals here. So just get ready to get your notes together and take in this information.
So before we start, for anybody that wondering what's exactly an appraisal, let me just give you the dictionary definition. I want to make sure I'm not mistaking and not missing any word. A real estate appraisal is a process of estimating the market value of a property, usually performed by a licensed appraiser. The appraisal involve a detailed examination and analysis of the property and the local real estate market, taking into account factors such as property location, size, condition, and features.
Yes.
That's what we had. So now tell me, in my case, in that situation, with an FHA buyer, why is it so important for the seller to consider working with the buyer if the appraisal number come back lower?
Yeah, that's a good question. Basically, what happens with FHA and how it protects our buyers, that appraisal is going to stick with that property for at least 6 months. So if that appraisal comes in at 275, the next person that comes to buy that property, they're going to have that same appraisal follow. So at the end of the day, you might as well go ahead as a seller and deal with it now versus prolonging the sale of your home.
Yeah, because on the FHA, it lasts, what, 6 months?
6 months.
So for the next 6 months, you seller, if you
want
to be stubborn and you don't want to move your price, that appraisal number on the FHA or even a VA,
Case
right?
number. VA as well.
VA too. And USDA included too?
No.
No? Okay. So FHA and VA, just know that appraisal number will stay because you go to a bank or somewhere, everybody will be able to see it. You'll be stuck with that number for 6 months.
Yeah. It's
then
attached to the FHA case number.
And if you decide to put your home back on the market and try to find another buyer, but just know right away, you eliminate the FHA and the VA people. And that's a big pool of buyer you'll be dumping on the side because you're trying to find somebody they'll be willing to pay the price that you want.
Yeah.
Which sometimes, hey, if you have all the time in the world and the money to handle 2 mortgages and going on at the same time, or you're not in a rush of moving, you can sit on the market there for a long time.
Yeah.
But on the conventional side, how does that work?
Well, conventional, that's very traditional. So, I mean, you can get an appraisal done as many times as you want on a conventional property, and there's no restrictions.
Okay. Yeah. And appraisal is usually typically required by lenders, right?
Yeah, most definitely. So as a lender, what we want to do, we want to be able to see how much that property is worth so we can lend versus on the value that property comes in appraised at.
Yeah, because y'all are cheap and you never want to give more money, huh?
Well, no, it's not necessarily cheap. You just want to know that the investment that you are loaning out to a borrower is worth the amount that they're stating that it's worth by the seller. That's
great. And then is there any situation where, as a buyer, you're not required to have an appraisal when you buy? Is there some exception to the rule?
Well, if you're going to be paying for your property cash, you definitely don't need appraisal at that time. If you want to just go ahead and buy the property cash, you can waive that. And then typically sometimes with some lenders, if you're putting about 30% down, they can also waive that appraisal as well because you're putting so much towards the principal balance of it.
Okay, great.
Depending upon what the market value is in that area for that property.
Have you had some situation like that?
Not where somebody was putting 30% down and they wanted to waive the appraisal, but definitely, dealing with some cash buyers that wanted to come in and pay cash that, could bypass that appraisal and close within, 12 to 15 days.
So, so it's usually a very good idea to get an appraisal, even if it's cash, I believe.
I mean,
you want to make sure you're not overpaying for the property. First, before having to spend money on appraisal, just ask your real estate agent, hey, is there any way you can run a comp for me?
Exactly.
A comparable, check and see what sold in the neighborhood around the same price. So as a realtor, we are not appraisal, right? We do not have that license to say, this is the number, this is the way it goes, and that's it. But we do have data.
Yeah.
And then we work with these data. So we see all the homes they sold, and we have an eye for it. For a lot of us, for those that have a lot of experience, they can run numbers and let you know, hey, I think the estimate value of this property could be between this and this. And that's how usually you have as a listing agent, when you have a consultation with your seller, that's what you do. You run a comp and you take a look at everybody that's sold in the neighborhood. They're similar to that property.
Similar to that property.
Yeah. And then just like I gave in the definition, so the location is very important, right?
Yes.
So the home there in a cul-de-sac tend to sell a little bit, have a better a little bit more value than the one in a busy street,
Exactly.
right? Why? Because most people, they don't necessarily want to live in a busy street, you know? And then also the size. You don't compare a 2,000 square feet home with a 2,500 square feet home. No, you have to look at 250 square foot above and below that to have an idea, because we try to stay as close as possible to the subject property. And then also another thing is the condition.
The condition of the
You
home.
have some people, they really care for their home. They have the budget. You know, they put little cute things here and there. They replace the roof. They take care of their pipe. You know, they put nice granite countertop, marble. Sometimes they put gold or stuff like that in the house. And that weighs value, right? But sometimes some changes that we do in a home, they don't necessarily...
They don't give it any value to the property.
Yeah. Have you had a property like that you've seen, or you invest in yourself and you realize that you probably should not have done this investment? It was pointless.
Well, yeah, I definitely have a situation where I invested in a flip with a cousin of mine actually, and went to look at the property. The property looked nice. Everything looked good. She stated that she ran the comps. Everything looked good as far as what she thought was going to come back with the number on the comps and everything. But when it was time to go ahead and start the actual rehab, things weren't going according to plan. So she ended up having to stop the rehab, and now we have the property on the market, and we're just trying to recoup funds that we already put into the property. So basically what I think of that situation, she was just going for a home that was a little bit too big and out of her scope of her job of what she could do.
Yeah, this is very important for anybody there like to flip, or even not just a flipper. You own the house and you want to fix it and put on the market and sell it, right? So you have to look, should I repair the roof, or should I change all the light fixture, or should I replace all the floor? You have to look what have the most weight for a buyer, but also for the appraiser when it's going to come. A new roof, oh heck yeah, will make a big difference.
Most
when you
definitely.
decide to sell your property. The appraiser will take that in consideration.
Big time.
Yeah, buyer will appreciate that, and then maybe you should not have to repaint the whole house. Just do touch up.
And then your homeowner's insurance goes down too with the new roof as well. So
oh yeah.
Once you report that to your homeowner's insurance, that price of the policy does go down at least $200 to $300.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is new windows make a difference?
I mean, energy wise.
But not necessarily. I realize sometimes when I flip houses in the past, I replaced the windows because it was a catastrophe. Like they really look like those windows were tired. So I was like, okay, let's just replace the windows. It's good for the look of it, but also good because I feel like the isolation in the house was really, really old. But if the house is not super duper old and it looked decent, I probably will not necessarily replace all the windows.
Yeah, I mean, good. It gives the property good curb appeal, depending upon where you're located, and then again, depending upon how old the house is, you changing the windows can definitely help you with your light bill.
Yes, and then you also have which type of floor you're putting, right?
True.
You will have a vinyl. Has less value than laminate, which has less value than hardwood. So these make a difference. If you do have the budget, you want to do hardwood, yes, go for it. But the hardwood, I think, if you have the property, you want to put it for rent, for example, put tile. The tenant will not necessarily value the hardwood, and it's too expensive to install, to buy, and do all of that. If you have a tenant, just put tile. And then when the tenant moved out, you don't feel like you have to replace the carpet every 5 seconds.
Exactly.
Just put tile. But as for the level of value, it's vinyl is less than laminate, which is less than tile, which is less than hardwood. Hardwood will weigh more when the appraisal comes and assess the property. And also even at the countertop stuff, you will have the different type of rock. Marble is more than quartz, which is more than granite, So that's very, very important to consider if you thinking about renovating your home right now before putting on the market.
Yeah.
And then, but also when you put a property, you want to put a property on the market, take a look at what's very important. Is that important for you to maybe replace all the pipes in the house or change, I don't know, and something that is very cosmetic,
Yeah.
So I feel like, to me, when you do the roof, you change all the pipes,
Bathrooms.
you renovate the bathrooms, and the bathrooms don't have to be fully renovated. You can just change the tile on the wall, for example. Give a different look and curb appeal.
Standing shower versus a tub. Yeah, those upgrades will give value to your home. Yeah. So, I mean, with the appraisal, it's very important. The only thing is you don't want to put too much valuable things in there, like the seller that you were dealing with did, to where you're putting so much money in where you're not able to recoup that money back with appraisals that are being done. So you definitely want to be mindful of that.
Yeah, and I've seen that a lot with flippers, with investors. They put so much to say, no, this house, no. When you're a flipper, look at the comp.
Yeah.
You make money on the buy. Sit down with your realtor. Go over the numbers. Look at everything that's sold in the neighborhood. Look at the highest comp and compare yourself to that house. Okay, that house in the corner, that's the highest number in the neighborhood. So copy that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Copy that. So at least, if you copy that, you can go too wrong. You know what I mean? If they did all the inside is nice, if they put tile, copy the tile. If they do whatever they did, so then when you're going to price your home, you're going to try to price it to that number because that has sold for that specific number.
Exactly.
And then you will not be shocked if somebody come or a bunch of offer comes to you and they're way less than what you want. Yeah. Because as a realtor, they will run comp for their buyer. So don't be feeling like you lost your money, but that's the way it goes. Hey, but let's check what the benefit of an appraisal for the seller. Is it good to have to run an appraisal before you list the property, for example?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, you definitely need to have a good professional realtor on your hand that's going to be able to advise you accordingly, run good comps on the property to be able to see exactly where y'all think that the property is going to come in as far as sales price is concerned. So you definitely want to put your faith in a good professional realtor, I would say.
Your real estate broker or agent will put some knowledge in you and let you know, hey, this is how much home are selling in this neighborhood. That's the number you should go about. So they give you a better sense. But if you do an appraisal before you list the property, as a seller, you must present that document.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to disclose it and give the copy to the buyer if they request it. So just have that in mind. Exactly. But if you don't want to spend that $500-$700 up front, just ask your realtor who has hopefully enough experience to value your home, so he can give you that number approximately. How much you can be pricing your home in advance, so you would have an idea and you don't feel shocked when buyer comes with low offers and you're like, that's an insulting offers. It's not an insulting offers. They just, everybody's gonna try you and they're gonna try and they're gonna offer you what they feel is the number for them.
Exactly. And a lot of sellers, they take things personal as well. So they feel that all the work, how they maintain the home, the things that they put in the home, those things they hold vital because it's a personal, upgrade for them. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to recoup that money when it comes to selling that home as well. So sometimes, sellers have to take time a little bit so they can come back to their normalcy and be able to see
just exactly. Say, come back to your sense.
Yeah, come back to your sense, to your normalcy, and basically see exactly what the property is going for. So you're not holding on to it too long. Yeah.
One of the other reasons why a seller will do an appraisal is refinance.
Yeah.
He's the king of refinance over here.
Yeah. So basically, you're gonna have a seller. If you come to me and a homeowner that states that, hey, I need to do a refinance, whether it's just lowering my interest rate, or if they're looking to do, a cash out. I know you're gonna be getting into the home equity loan as well. So basically, they would come to us, state that we do the application. You ask them, how much do you think the property's worth? Oh, my property's worth, I think it's going about 380. My neighbor sold their house for about 425, so I'm a little bit lower in square footage, and I think I can get 380 for it. So typically we'll use that as a starting point. What I do, I'll call a realtor and have them run comps for me and see what their gauge is on that property is. And I'll use those numbers to be able to estimate on what we think the actual value of that property is. Once that appraiser goes out and appraise that property, that's the number we're going to have to use. So definitely a seller or a homeowner that has a home definitely wants to get an appraisal done on that property to be able to see what that value is.
Yeah, when you refine, especially now with the rate being so high, hopefully they're going to go down in a couple of years or
We're hoping this summer.
Yeah, so then usually when the rate goes down, everybody decides to refi. But remember, when you refinance, you reset yourself up for another. It's pretty much getting a brand new mortgage, right?
Exactly.
So if you already pay 15 years, you're 15 years in a home, you pay 15 years of your mortgage, and you do a refi, you can reset yourself another 15 years, 25, 30, right?
How many you went. If you're doing a 15-year loan, you're going to start over at a 15 years. If you're doing a 30-year mortgage, you're going to start over at a 30-year mortgage. So all your closing costs, your escrows, everything is going to be rolled on top of your existing loan that you have. So now you're going to be starting with a higher principal balance, and depending upon, how low you're trying to get your rate down to, if you got to buy down your rate, things in that sort, all those things affect, what that monthly payment's going to be.
Yeah, so once again, you have to refine and you have to requalify, just like you were able to qualify the first time to buy the house.
To buy the house, correct.
Yeah, so that's very, very important. You need to put that, take that in consideration.
Correct.
But also you can do an appraisal when you're trying to have equity.
Yeah. So you can definitely refinance if you're looking to take some cash out. Let's say you want to do a pool, or you're looking to do some upgrades to the home. We can definitely do a cash out. But in order for us to do that, we got to make sure that equity's in the property.
What's the number?
Well, you got to at least have 20% of equity in the property in Texas before you can do a cash out. So
how much could you pull? Like, I own a home. Mm-hmm. I want to cash out, mm-hmm. right? But I think the value went up. It's been 10 years I'm in my house. Mm-hmm. What's the percentage for me to pull cash out?
What's the what?
The percentage. So if for example, the house worth $100,000 mm-hmm. and I have $50,000 mm-hmm. left, how much can I pull?
You can pull all the way up until that 20%. You have to
so
leave
up to
at least
80%.
Exactly. You got to at least leave 20% of equity in the home. In order to do a cash out. So you can't get 100% of it out. You can get up to 80. That would be the max. And
that's a good way. For example, you purchase a home, you buy it at the home that you purchase and you add value to it. Mm-hmm. As an investor, you mm-hmm. bought it at maybe 180, but the neighborhood can sell up to 350. Mm-hmm. You fix it for 180. You fix it for, I don't know, 50, 60,000. Mm-hmm. And then you have that difference between the cost to acquire and fix it mm-hmm. and the value of the property, and then you can cash out of it and go and invest into another property.
Yeah. And one thing to note, they did just change now. Previously, before, it was 6 months. As long as you've been in your property for 6 months, you can do a cash out. Now you have to own that property for at least 12 months.
Even investor? Or
even investors.
It doesn't matter. Investors or primary resident person?
12 months.
12 months? That's crazy. 12 months. Why are they doing that?
Well, they're just trying to slow the market down. They're trying to slow investors down. Everybody wants to be an investor now. Mm-mm. Everybody's looking to flip houses. They're watching these reality TV shows. And, everybody wants to be a millionaire. So they're definitely slowing the market down.
Okay, but based on the way the inflation goes and everything goes in America, I think it would be easy to get to to be a millionaire, because everything will cost you $1 million.
No, that's true. And then $1 million is going to be like $100,000. So
I know, right?
You're going to be looking to try to get $1 billion.
Yeah, because I saw one time I was reading this article about people buying home in California. They used to be 20, 30, 40,000 back in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And now they're like tens of $1 million today.
Exactly.
So I guess the rule of thumb we say in English mm-hmm. is just patience.
Patience.
You buy and you sit on it.
Yeah.
You buy and you're old.
Yeah.
You wait
Yeah.
And when the market is good for you, bam, you attack just like a lion.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Danielle. But definitely you have to set yourself up to be in a financial status to where you can maintain when it is a slow market. That mortgage still going to be due. If you have a tenant in the property, good for you. If not, you got to be able to sustain that mortgage. So you don't want to put yourself in a tight spot to where you overload on trying to acquire so many properties.
Yeah, so that's why it's important for you to maintain your credit.
Yeah.
You know,
credit is king.
It's king in America.
Yeah,
It's not liquidity. It's not cash.
Not
is king.
cash.
It's credit is king, right?
You can have $1 million if you have a 400 credit score. Good luck to you.
You have to. Yeah, you're gonna have to use all your cash.
Yeah.
But if you have $1 million in your hand, but you had a 800 credit score,
exactly.
You use other people's money to do your investment. You keep your liquidity with you, and you don't have to worry. And in a bad and rainy day, then that's why you use your cash. Other than that, you keep reusing other people's money and keep. That's pretty much what we call investing, right?
That's it.
Between just saving and investing. It's good to have savings, but it's also better to also invest. So you need to play with both of them together.
Use other people's money.
Also, we can use an appraisal when you try to apply for other type of loan, just like we're talking about investment right now. Mm-hmm. So let's say you are an investor, you try to buy a business. Sometimes some lender will require from you to use the equity or your home as a collateral for them to give you cash or whatever if you're trying to buy business or stuff like that. And then that's why it's very important, for them to do an appraisal sometime on your home. They want to make sure that they can use your home as a collateral. So in case they lend you, $2 million to buy a business, they know they can recover at least something if your home worth $500,000, for example.
Exactly.
Yes. So another thing that you can do while you will need appraisal is to file your taxes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would have to file. Hey guys, the tax assessment and when you fight and stuff, you have to do it soon. For a lot of places is April 15. Check your local your local appraisal district and county and all that, and see how you can fight it. But a lot of people have to fight their taxes because the market has been so good, and then the state or the city, the county, whatever you leave, need that money, right? That's how they make money. They charge people taxes on their property. And here in Texas, it's one of the highest in the nation as far property taxes. We don't pay state taxes, but they get us real good on property tax. So our taxes are very high. So you can use that sometime if you're trying to fight and you don't agree with the value they give you, and then you run a comp from your realtor and it's still not good enough for them. Maybe you can ask for an appraiser to come and assess the home for you and really show them, hey, this house doesn't worth what you say it's worth. Sometimes they may accept it, sometimes they may not accept it. So always double check with your appraisal district if you're trying to file your taxes.
Yeah. So, and also I want to add to that, when you're wanting to fight your taxes, look at the age of your roof. Sometimes they might be giving you value for properties that are selling in your community, but they might have newer roofs on their properties and you don't. So that's something that you want to look at. You want to look at foundation cracks. You want to look at mold. You want to look at all these different things that you would be able to use as a case to state that my property isn't worth as much as you think it is. Because basically what they're doing is just a drive-by. So they don't come in your house. They don't know what's going on in your house. So you can always fight that case. So always keep that in mind.
Yes. Yeah, especially for those that buy new construction. So you buy a brand new construction in a beautiful neighborhood, and you still maybe at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end, and then every new construction that comes around you are selling for $20,000 to $30,000 more than your home, and then now they just come and slap a number to your house. Hey, your house now worth $350,000, but you're like, hold on, my friend. You compare me to the new home down the street. My house is 2-3 years it's older. And then the buyers, if they decide to buy my house today in this neighborhood, I won't be able to compete with the new construction next door. You will have to adjust the number and make sure it truly reflects my home and the age of it, right?
Exactly.
So, so hopefully you guys learn a lot. It was, we give you some tips and nuggets regarding appraisal. Make sure to give us a call. Contact us if you have any question. We want to hear from you. Make sure to subscribe, comment, and follow on all our social media. I'm Danielle Bilumbu with DBK Real Estate.
Abu Jabi with AMP Lending.
Thank you so much for watching. Et à bientôt.
Bye-bye.
Bye. How you say bye-bye in your mother voice?
9 dots.
Okay, 9 dots. Did I say right?
Yeah, 9 dots.
Okay, I can say bye-bye in French. Bye, au revoir. In Lingala, à bientôt. On se voit bien tard. I don't know. I even don't say it right. I spent too much time in France. Uh-oh, it's time to go. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.